Our next section that we will focus on is Chapter 2, Section 4, Dividing Decimals. Dividing a decimal by a whole number. We use long division to divide our decimals by our whole numbers. We divide as we would with whole numbers, and then we line up the decimal point in the quotient to match the decimal point in the dividend. I've given you some definitions here of a quotient, dividend, divisor, and remainder. Quotient is the result of the division. So in our problem here, we're dividing 50 by 7 for the answer of 7 with a remainder of 1. Our quotient is going to be 7. Our dividend, the number being divided, is going to be 50. Our divisor, the number it is being divided in by, is 7. So our divisor is here and here. And our remainder is the number that is left if the divisor does not divide into the dividend easily. So 7 divided into 57 times and it had a remainder of 1, so we mark our remainders up here. Now we have an example, 574.75 divided by 11. We divide as if they were two whole numbers. So here's the math for that. 11 goes into 57 5 times. 5 times 11 is 55 with a remainder of 2. We bring down our 4. 11 goes into 24 twice. 2 times 11 is 22 with a remainder of 2. Bring down our next digit, which is a 7. 11 goes into 27 2 times. 2 times 11 is 22, the remainder of 5. We bring down our next digit, which is a 5. 11 goes into 55 5 times. Finally goes in perfectly, and we don't have a remainder. So this is our quotient. Now, is this answer reasonable? We could check if an answer is reasonable by using compatible numbers. Compatible numbers just make a calculation easier. So what we like to do is round the divisor and the dividend to places of leading digits. So we came up with 574.75 divided by 11 is 52.25. Now let's check if that's reasonable. We want to round our first number, our dividend, to the nearest multiple of 10. So the nearest multiple of 10 for 574 is 570. Now we round our divisor to the place of the leading digit. In this case, we're going to round it to 10. So now we do 570 divided by 10. We see that it's 57. Since 57 is close to 52.25, we can say that our answer is reasonable. This is just another way to double check your work, make sure that it seems accurate. Now we can divide decimals by decimals. We're going to keep the same strategy as if they were both whole numbers, but we want to always make sure that our divisor has 0 decimal places, because if we had those, we would just have a lot of trouble doing a long division. So the solution for that is to move our decimal place over so that there's no decimal places in the divisor. So for our example here, 3.804 is divided by 3.17. Since 3.17 has 2 decimal places, we want to move it over 2 places. So now we have 317 divided into 380.4. And now this is 380 because we also have to move the decimal places here. Now remember that when we're moving the decimal places to the right, that means we're just multiplying by a factor of 10. So if we would move it just one place, it would be multiplying by 10, But since we're moving it twice, we're multiplying each of these numbers by 100. So now we can divide 317 into 380.4. 317 goes into 381 with a remainder of 63. We bring down our 4. 317 goes into 634 exactly twice. And now our decimal point is just going to go directly above where it was in the dividend. So right there. Rounding a quotient. So we have a word problem here. You buy a pack of 8 collector's cards for $2.15. Use a verbal model to find the price of each card and then round to the nearest cent. So our first step is to come up with some sort of verbal equation, verbal model. We have the price of each card is going to be defined by the price of the package divided by the number of cards in each package. That way we have a full package, we're dividing by how many cards are in that package, and we're going to come up with the price of each individual card. So here's our original starting point. We have $2.15 divided by 8 individual cards. We don't have to worry about moving any decimal points over here since 8 has no decimal places in it. So we can just go right ahead into dividing. Divide as if they were normal whole numbers. 8 goes into 21 twice. That's 2 times 8 for 16. 16 from 21 gives a remainder of 5. We bring down our 5 here. 8 goes into 55 6 times. 6 times 8 is 48. The remainder of 7. Bring down our 0. Notice I had to put this 0 in. It wasn't in the initial problem, but since we're doing this and we want to round to the nearest cent, we need to go ahead and get this next number. So 8 times 8 is 64. 64 from 70 gives us a remainder of 6. But we don't need to go any further. We already have 0.268 up here, and remember that we got the decimal point here just from bringing it up exactly where it was in the dividend. So we have 0.268, and we want to round it to the nearest cent. So if we look at each cent, and we look to the right of that, the digit to the right of that, since 8 is greater than 5, we round up. So 0.268 now becomes 0.27 or 27 cents. So the price of each card is about 27 cents.